Cisse's through and he scores! Shooted from outside the box! And what a strike! Middle, still with it, the shot, and it's in!
What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday, and welcome into episode number 2 of the Old Bay Breakdown. I'm your host, Adam Gotkin. In this week's episode, because we're still in the preseason, still not a match week, we will be previewing each team in the NISA League. So that's all 9 teams, all of the returners, and the 4 expansion teams. On the right side of the screen, or the left, I think it's the right, whenever we start, you'll see the list of teams. The way that it will go is the bottom is the one that we're previewing, it should say that, and then the next. So if you want to search or you want to find your team, if you're not a fan of the Bobcats, or you want to see specifically only one team, you can just kind of see what's coming up next. So bottom to top is going to be talking about now to coming up next, all 9 teams. And I'm excited to do this today. After that, we'll have the interview from the media day with Jorge Quintanilla, one of the new signings for the Bobcats. So that'll be at the end. Again, you can, of course, skip to that. But we'll have the entire preview of the entire league this year. Then at the very end, after the interview with Jorge, I'm going to give my one major takeaway from the team's scrimmage back on Wednesday, their preseason match. I was able to go to that one, and there was one takeaway that I had, one out of many, but one that I wanted to share with you guys, and I think it's going to be vital for the team this year. But we'll get to that at the very end, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But now, we'll start things off previewing each team in the NISA League. And we'll start things off with the Bobcats' first opponent of the year. Now, we'll get much more into them specifically in the episode next week, which is a match week episode. The team is actually traveling a week from today, a week from the time that this is airing at noon. They'll be on their way to Chattanooga. So we'll be going really in-depth into Chattanooga FC on next week's episode. This is just more of a light thing. Starting off, the biggest thing, a new coach. They have Rod Underwood coming in from Stumptown. A lot of guys coming in from Stumptown. Some people may be calling them, Stumpanooga might be the name. Rod Underwood there, and he's brought a number of his players. Colin Stripling, Travis Ward, Alex McGrath, Frankie Martinez, and the all-league goalkeeper, Kevin Gonzalez. Those are all, a lot of them starters. Stripling, Ward, McGrath, Martinez, Gonzalez, all really had a lot of starting minutes with Stumptown. So those are big adds. In addition to that, a Maryland Bobcat goes to Chattanooga in Tennessee. Taylor Gray, the young forward, joins them. They also have a midfielder, Alex Hernandez, coming in from NC State. He played with the USL League 2 finalists, North Carolina Fusion, in the 2021 season. Greg Stratton, a young defender, second team All-Missouri Valley Conference with Missouri State, who is a top 10 team in the country, a defender that they're really looking forward to. They also have Ian Cerro, the midfielder, coming over from Chicago House, who just announced which league they'll be playing in this season, the Midwest Premier League. So not in NISA this year, Chicago House, but Ian Cerro does come over to Chattanooga. And then their returners this year, they've got Richard Dixon, a big guy coming back, Nick Spielman, Juan Hernandez, Damian Rodriguez, Tate Robertson, and Brett Jones. So really not that many returners for Chattanooga, but a lot of new guys. And the way that they announced it kind of confused some fans because they were really not announcing many forwards. Really, there was the main question is, who in the world is going to be their forward? Of course, I said Taylor Gray. He's not the one who I'm most excited to see for Chattanooga. That's got to be Luke Ferreira, a guy with USL Championship experience, played professionally over in Europe. He could become one of the better strikers in all of the league. Also, Roddy Green, who comes over from Detroit City FC, played mainly midfield when he was with DCFC, but they have him listed as a forward. I'll be interested to see if they maybe have him in a number 9 position, but he's a guy who could make an impact. So that's pretty much it on Chattanooga FC. Of course, like I said, we're going to have a much more in-depth detail preview of them in the episode next week. So make sure to stay tuned for that. We'll maybe even try and get an interview with someone for Chattanooga because it is almost match week, which is crazy to say. Coming up next, LA Force, probably the top returning team in this league, although they do have a new coach. Leon Scharf takes over, a guy who was born in Ukraine, has been with the LA Force system for a while, coached with the FC Golden State Force team, and has sent a number of players to Division 1. They have a ton of returning players. I mean, other than a couple guys leaving, really their core is staying together. And as the second place team in NISA last year, you got to think that that puts them in a good spot. And Scharf is a really solid coach. So a lot of returners, 4 of their new players. Sean Reynolds, a guy with 5 years of USL Championship experience, a defender, joins the team. He played with Chattanooga in his past. Also, Eder Guerrero, who joins the team from the Mexican 3rd Division, now comes over to the American 3rd Division. We'll see what he can do in the midfield. Then Jamie Chavez, a 34-year-old, an older guy, but someone who's been playing in the USL Championship. So a guy with that 2nd Division experience. We've seen that a lot of our top players in NISA come from there. So we'll see what he can do. And then Carlos Sanchez, a midfielder, comes from the University of Louisville. So a quick thing on LA Force. That'll kind of be our normal pace for all of these. Cal United, they still have Don Ebert coaching them. A ton of new signings. A ton of returning players, not a ton of new signings. Only one new signing really stuck out to me, and that's going to be Luis Garcia Sosa. You know, he was one of the best players in the league last year for Stumptown. And just what he can do in the midfield, he can really change your team. I mean, he should be starting almost every match for Cal United. And that was a huge signing for them to get him. And then also his teammate from Stumptown, Bay Kurtz, also joins Cal United. They have a couple more signings. They've posted all of them on their social media sites. But Garcia Sosa was the one that really stuck out to me. And then, I mean, almost their entire team is coming back. Probably more than 20 returners. So we should see a lot of the same from Cal United. Next up, the Michigan Stars. We don't know much about the Stars this year. They really haven't. I don't think they've announced any signings yet. They have been posting, so we can see kind of what guys are coming back and what guys are not. Their starting goalkeeper, the national team player for Zimbabwe, will be coming back, and then a couple other of their starters. But their biggest loss was Devin Amu-Mensah, who went to the other Michigan team that we know in NISA, Detroit City FC. That is a huge loss for them. He was the core of that team, and I don't know what they'll do to replace him, because without him, they probably would have been bottom of the table by far. He was such an important player to them, and without him, I'm interested to see what the Stars are going to look like. They've played a really tough preseason. They have been flying across the country. We haven't seen that from any other team in NISA, but they started off in Rochester, played them in a preseason match, went down to Arizona, played Valley United, and then over to California. So a lot of money spent from the Michigan Stars. They're hoping that that really prepares them well for the season. Next up, Albion San Diego, formerly 1904. They were merged with one of the top youth clubs, youth organizations, and just organizations in the country with Albion San Diego. They should look pretty different. They're coached by Ziggy Korytowski, who's coached NCAA Division I, coached for Albion San Diego between 2016 and 2020. So he has experience with this organization. He's coached at D1 level, and that can help out this team a lot because they are very young. I don't know the exact stats, but probably the youngest team in the league. The signing that sticks out to me the most, I'll go through a couple, but the one that really sticks out to me the most is Harold Hansen, the 22-year-old who comes over from the Portland Timbers. Had an appearance with the Timbers in the MLS at 18 years old, had 78 caps with Timbers 2 on the professional level. So a guy with a ton of experience at 22 years old, kind of a right-back winger. He can move up a bit, stay back in the defense. Really excited to see what he can do. Jonathan Bazas comes from the Chile U20 national team. He grew up there and comes to the States. Daniel Vicente comes over from New Amsterdam FC. Alex Popa, an outside back, joins the team. He was with the Michigan Stars U21 side, played Division I with Purdue Fort Wayne last year. And then the last one that really excites me with the San Diego side is Lennon Carrion, who played with the Bayern Munich World team. Also played with the MLS Next team for San Diego. But that Bayern Munich World team was a ton of talent from around the world. You know, there was a couple articles about it. If you want a more in-depth detail of what that was, you can look him up. If you want the spelling for his name, LENNYNCARREON, you can look that up and find the exact details. But essentially went over to Munich, to Germany, and played with their world team. Now comes back, has experience from abroad, and a young guy who, as a winger, can really make an impact for the team. Next up, our expansion team. So that's all for the returners. So as I said in the last episode, leaving Detroit City, Stumptown, Chicago, and New Amsterdam. So we do have 4 teams coming in to replace them. Starting off with Flower Union FC. One of 2 teams starting off in Rochester, New York next year. One of 2 Central New York teams, but the other one, Rochester, New York FC in the MLS Next Pro League. Jamie Vardy, a lead investor in them. So 2 teams battling it out. But Flower Union won the first battle in Rochester in the fact that they got the big stadium, Marine Auto Stadium, a very nice stadium. Could be one of the nicer ones in the league. About 7,000 seats, soccer specific, beautiful. And that could be big for them to drawing fans. On the soccer side, Zach Aguilera comes and coaches them from Rochester, a local guy, and some local guys on their team. But a lot of young guys, not many with true experience, so they could struggle early on. They have had a few scrimmages. I know they scrimmaged the Syracuse University men's team and Michigan Stars, as I mentioned before, but not much pro experience. We saw that with the Bobcats. They struggled a bit at the beginning of last year, a new team with not much experience. We could see the same with Flower Union FC. Jay Lee, one of the guys with professional experience, joins them from the Michigan Stars, a winger. Quentin Carey, a guy from the LA Force, another NISA veteran, comes and joins them in the midfield. Lucas Fernandez from Pittsburgh Riverhounds in the USL Championship joins them. So an attacking midfielder with that USLC experience, as I said just a minute ago, that is a difference maker. We see a lot of the top players in this league have that Division II experience, so he could be a guy to watch out for. And then someone who comes over from the Rochester Lancers, Demidov, the defender. We'll see what he can do, but I'm kind of waiting to see what they'll be. They're the first team that the Bobcats will play at home this year on April 2nd. So maybe Maryland can take advantage of that because they have a lot of guys with professional experience and Flower Union can struggle early. Or they turn out to be a really solid side and it could be a rough game for Maryland. But, we'll see. We don't really know what we're going to get from that. Coming up next in our expansion sides, Bay Cities FC, their sporting director, Eric Bouchier, a head assistant in the past for Reno 1868 in the USL Championship, was the manager for the Earthquakes PDL team. So has been with a lot of young guys, but also has that experience at the professional level with both the PDL manager and also a head assistant for a USL Championship team. They actually scrimmage, I think, the Tijuana U23 side. I think it's Saturday. So we'll see what comes from that, what their results are going to be like. They've had a ton of preseason matches against a lot of local college teams in the San Francisco area. It looks like they have done pretty decent. So we'll see what they can do this year. Christian Dean has got to be the guy that sticks out to me the most. Former 3rd overall pick in the MLS Super Draft, has 17 caps in the MLS, been all around the league. Spent his last year with the Charlotte Independence in the USL Championship, so was just at that top level. Moves down a bit, but could be a guy who dominates NISA as a defender. Coming over up a bit from LA to the Bay Area, Jonathan Partida from the LA Force, and then Jacob Goyen, another guy who I'm going to be watching out for. Played St. Louis and Ohio State University in college. Coming up next, Valley United FC. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do. They've really just started announcing their signings, so really only a couple coming so far. Probably some more coming soon. But they've played a number of high-quality opponents. Phoenix Rising in the USL Championship, one of them. They scrimmaged Michigan Stars, and they've had a number of other preseason matches. And, they were one of the better UPSL teams before they rebranded and became Valley United with Adrian Gaitan, their manager and head coach. Led that UPSL team, now coaches the professional team. I want to see what his team can be. His son, probably the team's top player, Nico Gaitan, son of the coach, had potential to maybe even play in a World Cup. Thought they maybe could have called him up. Was playing in the Greek First Division when he was younger. Had a lot of potential then. Maybe didn't completely live up to it. But this is a chance for him to get back into it. Back in the professional level. And take over here with his dad as the head coach. Stephen Elias, another guy who excites me at right back. Played at NC State. And then finally, our last team, and one that I don't have anything to say about, AC Syracuse Pulse. They're supposed to be playing at Onondaga Community College in Syracuse. They have not posted on social media since January 23rd. I'm recording this Thursday night. So maybe they will before this comes out on Friday, but they have not posted in almost 2 months, and the season starts a week from tomorrow when you guys are seeing this. So I don't know what's going to happen with them. There are rumors, and I'm independent from the team. I don't know anything that you all don't know. There's rumors that maybe Peter Fuller, who's the former coach at Chattanooga, could be their head coach. It looked like the Nights Who Say NISA podcast maybe confirmed that, but we haven't heard anything from the team on that. The Salt City Supporters Group kind of was hinting at on Twitter that they know some stuff and that there's been some trials, and Fuller's brought in some guys that he likes, and they're starting training, but we don't know anything about them. So I'm interested to see what they become, because we don't know anything. So with that is all 9 of the teams in the NISA League. Went through it quick, about 13 minutes. Again, if you want to go back, you can just look at, I think it's on the right, should be where my hand is, about the list of what teams are in order. And so I hope you all enjoyed that. I'll now go and play the interview back from the media day with Jorge Quintanilla, the Maryland Bobcats midfielder who played with West Virginia University, a local guy who went to Quince Orchard High School, where I currently attend and am a senior. I really enjoyed that interview, and I think you all will too. After that, I will give a quick takeaway from the Bobcats preseason match back on Wednesday, and then I'll send you guys off. So I hope you all enjoy the interview, and you'll be back with me in just 1 minute.
All right, I'm now joined by Jorge Quintanilla. Jorge, it's been a little bit since you've played at that highest level, since kind of your time at West Virginia. What has it been like to get back onto the grind of playing every day?
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Like it's been harder than past years because I've been consistently playing, but as the weeks go by, I get more and more comfortable with back to playing how I used to. So.
And what's the team been like? We have some guys playing professionally, coming straight from college. What's it been like to be with those guys after taking a bit of a break from this high caliber level?
Oh, it's been great. Yeah. We have a bunch of players that have a lot of talent, and it's a little different than college, obviously, because the professional level is a lot higher. But so far, it's been really well. It's been going really well. So.
And you're a local guy. You went to Quince. I actually go there right now, if you don't know that. And what's it mean to now be back home and play for your hometown professional club?
Oh, it's great. That played a big role in signing here. Playing in front of the home fans, my family being able to come out to probably almost every game. It's really nice.
You signed with the team through the Invitational Combine. What was that process like?
It was a good process. We played a lot, so you got to demonstrate if you could play at the level or not. And a few players got signed from the combine, so I think it was a really great idea for the team to hold it.
And what's the level of talent like? You played at West Virginia, Division I in the Big 12. Playing. You've played against Pitt, a lot of the top college soccer powerhouses. But what is the level of talent like here in NISA?
Well, the level of talent so far. I've only been able to see within our teams.
Yeah.
But the level of talent, it's a lot higher. It's a lot quicker. I feel like, and a little bit more physical than college. So that's pretty much it. Just a little bit more physically demanding.
And what are you looking forward to the most this season? What are you most excited for?
I'm playing in front of the home fans here. I'm from Maryland, so it's very exciting.
Do you have any messages for them? Any come out, support us, anything like that?
Oh yeah, come out to support us, because having home fans and having people cheering us on, it means so much, and it gives the players a lot of motivation, and we definitely get a lot better results with them behind us.
All right, well, thank you so much for talking to me today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, so I hope you all enjoyed that. It was very fun for me because, Jorge went to Quince Orchard High School, just about a 10-minute drive away from the soccerplex where the Bobcats play, and I go there right now. So that was very interesting. And a guy who had Division I experience, hasn't played at that top level in a while, so it was very cool to do. It was definitely a very fun one to do, and I was glad to. Again, we'll have more of those interviews coming out periodically in this show. from that media day. I know on social media we have a couple smaller interviews on Instagram and Twitter at MD Bobcats. But with that, talking about the Bobcats, their scrimmage against FC 1749 back on Wednesday. I went to that. I'm not going to go into it because I can't give Chattanooga all those hints about what the team is going to look like this year. Just kidding about that, of course. But I don't want to go too into it. But the biggest thing that stuck out to me, the organization of this team. You'll see it in the first match against Chattanooga. Their shape they hold the entire time. And they're not a team that looks like they're going to press the entire time or stay back the entire time. They're going to really depend on tactics, and I think that's what Sylvain Restello, the new coach of the Bobcats, is really going to do. That's going to be the difference maker. I'm really excited to see what he does this year. He was on his feet the entire match, telling his players what to do. It's not a yelling, you're doing this wrong. It's a teaching moment. Maybe next time do this. Go outside so that there's a lane here, or just stuff like that. And that's exactly what you like to see from a coach. So that was what stuck out to me the most. The organization of this team, the shape that they're able to hold is really impressive. I don't know if I've ever seen a team in NISA hold a shape as well as they did in their preseason match. It was an amateur team, FC 1749, but they are one of the best amateur teams in the state. They won the Maryland Majors League. So definitely a lot of merit to them. Wasn't an easy opponent, and they won it 3-0. And I was really impressed with what I saw there. So with that, we will end the final preseason episode of the Old Bay Breakdown. When I'm talking to you guys next week, it'll be the eve of the kickoff of the NISA League season. I cannot wait for it. We're going to be really in-depth to Chattanooga FC, maybe even try and get an interview with someone from Chattanooga FC to give you all even more insight on them. We'll play another Bobcats interview, but yeah, next Saturday, we are so close. A week and a day away, 8 days away, and I hope you all enjoyed episode number 2 of the Old Bay Breakdown. We'll see you all next week, same time, same place. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click on the notifications button so you know when our next episode is coming out. So with that, I'm Adam Gotkin. Have a great rest of your Friday.